The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
Caution. You are now entering the all-consuming realm of Shay's Paranormal Chat, where the things that are better left unsaid are actually said.
Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to Shay's Paranormal Chat. Paranormal podcasting done Shay's way. Tons of fun.
Dude, seriously?
A bit sarcastic.
Hashtag investigator, not hunter.
But always real.
Hashtag data, not evidence.
Don't get your panties in a twist.
Oh my god, really?
This is real, raw conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome. TGIF as always, and I'm so excited to be having this next guest on. We were talking, it's been a year and a half, 2 years since we've been on air together, so I'm very excited, and of course everybody is very excited in chat. We have Mr. Josh Hurd. Hey Josh, how you doing?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me back.
Yes, it's been a while.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm going to do a couple quick shout-outs to the few of the people in chat because I sometimes get lost at the end, so I like doing it at both. Of course, we have Cynthia, and I'm sure Roland somewhere behind her from Raven Rose. We have Matt. We have Mama Pat Kraft. We have Darren, Kim, Allison, Wolf's in there. So those are the first ones in there. So they're all, yeah, I can't say that. Oh, and Mallory joined us. So you have such an extensive resume. If I had you just read your resume, it would be a 4-hour long show. I mean,
yeah.
Is there anything you don't do? Like,
yeah, like I'm terrible at cooking. I'm no good at that. I don't know. Like I guess I'm passionate about a lot of things, you know what I mean? And it all kind of stems, from like the paranormal and paranormal research and things of that nature. And I just like, I think my biggest problem is I can't sit still. Maybe that's it. So I want to just like do as much as I possibly can. So yeah.
I understand that for sure.
Yeah.
You get busy and then you're like, oh, I get a break. And then once you get that break, you're like, now what do I do?
Right. You're like, I don't know about this break stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It sounds good till you actually try to do it. So.
Yeah, I'm no good at it. I'm just no good at it.
Yeah, I hear you there. So I want to start off with, you're a musician.
Yeah, I do a little bit of that, yeah.
You lead singer and guitar, right?
Correct.
I thought so. Is it an actual band, or do you just play with anybody?
Yeah, so it's my buddy Brad and myself. And so Brad plays percussion and sings, and I play guitar and sing. And yeah, I mean, it's just the two of us, we go all over the place and play pretty cool, laid back renditions of like everything. We play everything from Garth Brooks to Tool. Like we play literally everything. There's very eclectic taste in music.
A very good taste in music, I have to say.
Oh, thank you.
From what I've seen, I've seen Garth Brooks, and I saw Bon Jovi. That
oh yeah,
you've done a lot. So everybody should check them out if you can, because they're really good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I actually enjoyed it. Let's see. We had a question from Cynthia. Will Josh let me bring a new doll to the manor?
No.
No.
Man, I tell you what, like after the last doll incident that we had when Allison was there,
yes,
and Allison was doing a Facebook Live. Oh my Lord!
The scream heard across the world. Is that?
That was amazing. Yeah, that was so great. Like,
yeah,
that scream. Like, I don't know. Like, I think people actually train for that. Like actresses, they train how to do that, and she just pulled it out.
Yeah,
like, that was pretty outstanding.
Yes, it was. It was quite the scream.
Ever since then, because then they they stayed back, which was awesome. And, we were chatting the next day, and they, had to glue the doll back together.
I saw that.
And so, with the glue and the tape and all of that stuff. And so now that doll is actually in this blessed case that I have in my office, but she doesn't fit very well at all. And so she's in a very odd position, just kind of crammed in there. But yeah, I'm not letting her out of that box ever again.
Yeah, I can't remember. Is that the one that kind of jumped off the?
Yes.
That's
yes.
what I thought.
Like the devil himself. No. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, I would have screamed too. So I give her shit about it, but
I mean, you should. I mean, that's what happens.
That's what friends do, right?
Exactly.
If you can't make fun of a person, you're not close enough.
Well, that's just it. And be able to make fun of people being able to make fun of themselves. I think it's important.
Yes. I am very good at making fun of myself too.
Yeah. I'm laughing at myself pretty much 98% of the time.
Me too. I just think I'm hysterical. Not everybody agrees, but
I get it. I totally get it.
So, jeez, the chat's going really quick here. There was another question. I'll keep searching, but how many films do you have under your belt now?
So I have either directed, produced, or just in general been a part of 15 different documentary films so far. I have 16 and 17 in the works right now. And hopefully by Christmas, we'll have another full-length documentary out surrounding a cryptid case that we were doing, which is something really fun that I haven't really got into, right? It's I'm usually, chasing after ghosts and things of that nature. Yeah. And so to be able to kind of dive into the realm of cryptid things, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I saw that. Didn't the trailer just come out not too long ago? Or a short trailer or something?
I think I don't know what they did. I think they teased it. Yeah, they teased it in some way. Yeah. It was pretty intense. It was the only time I ever heard Johnny Hauser say that he wanted to go home. You know what I mean? And so I was like, okay, bro. If you want to go home, then I definitely want to go home.
Yeah. if Johnny Hauser's saying, it's probably time to go.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I didn't think he was afraid of anything.
No, exactly. I'm like, man.
Oh, that's funny.
Let's just have another beer and talk about this. Come on, man. We don't need to do that.
That's funny. Yeah, that would be me. Well, okay, time to go.
Time to check out. Awesome.
Wow. And is that the one? Is that through Terrify?
Yes, that'll be the next. I think it'll be the next Terrify title that we put out.
Yeah. Wow. You guys all make an awesome team. Let's see. It's Johnny, you, Chris, Case.
And Ron Haskett. Yeah, yep. Absolutely. And
am I missing somebody?
Johnny's son, Jesse, was a part of this as well, and our buddy Paul Kosis as well. And now, just recently, obviously, we added Ron into the mix, and it also sounds like Ashley Godwin from Ghost Hunters International is kind of in our midst as well. So yeah, it should be fun.
What a great group!
We work really well together, and I think we complement each other.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if I don't know how to do this or whatever, well, my buddy Seth Alney knows how to do it.
Yeah.
If we don't know how to do a specific thing or whatever, well, Jesse knows how to do it, or Johnny knows how to do it. It's a pretty cool group of people, and we're all constantly learning and evolving, and we just complement each other's strengths, I think, very well.
Yeah. You guys you have everything covered between all of you, and your personalities just mesh well together, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we tell a lot of jokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of joking.
Yeah. All right, Darren has a question. I know I missed some in there, guys. Sorry, but whoops, hold on. Let me see. What is it? Who is an investigator that you haven't investigated with yet that you would want to, I'm assuming? Is what he means?
Yeah. Gosh. I love investigating with just, as many people as I can, just to see the different styles and all of that stuff. I love that. Obviously one person that I've always wanted to investigate is either like Jason or Grant, from the original Ghost Hunters team. And now, of course, they're off doing their own stuff. But I've always really enjoyed their approach, their style to everything. My buddy Chris put on an event at the Manor where I finally got to investigate with Steve Gonzalez, which was super cool. Just kind of being able to sit back, watch him work, and like pick his brain a little bit, that was super cool. Super cool.
We got to meet them, Steve and Tango, over the summer. So.
Fun.
Yeah, very nice people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see. So, here's the story that I think I've told one other time on air, but I don't even think you remember it.
Okay.
We've never met in person, but
Correct.
Obviously we know each other through the paranormal here and there, and got to talk to you on air a few times.
Yeah.
But my very first interaction with you was, I am guessing, probably 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I had even started investigating. It was either right before I started investigating or right after, but I was doing research for people. And I reached out to you because somebody was interested. Long story short, I was doing research for somebody that wanted to do Malvern Manor. And you were just... And I was a nobody. You didn't know me from... I'm still a nobody, but you know what I mean. You were just so nice, and you took all the time in the world with me, and you went over story after story, and you told me history, and you were just so great, and it was really refreshing. But yeah,
that's super nice of you to say.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I just saw you put out a video somewhere, and I hadn't even got to the history of it yet. I didn't even know you were an owner or co-owner,
right,
or anything. And you're like, I can help you. So it was really great. So,
I can try to help.
Yeah, you would. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a long time ago now, but here it is. This is a question I missed. From Darren. If you came across a full body apparition, who would you want it to be, and what would you say?
Ooh. I would love it to be like JFK, right? And then just like waltz up to JFK and be like, bro, what happened? Right?
Yeah.
Like, dude, it's killing me, right? Like I'm a huge like conspiracy freak too, and history junkie, like all of that. And that's like one story that's always fascinated me. It's just
Me
like
too.
John F. Kennedy and just like the weird melting pot of conspiracy
Events.
theory
Yes.
just surrounding all of that. And like so much stuff like happened that day. Like it
To
almost
get it
can't
to that
be
point, yeah.
Yeah, like it almost can't be happenstance, right? Like
You're
it's
talking
so
to
bizarre.
the right person on the
Yeah.
When
So
I
I
was
love
in
that
10th
stuff.
grade, we had to do a report on a major event in history. So I took it even that Oliver Stone movie, JFK, had come out.
Yes.
I did my whole report on the movie. I made it clear that it was about the movie. The whole thing. And it was like supposed to be 3 pages, and it was like 10 pages long. So I got an A+, but you know.
That's awesome.
So
That is so awesome.
That's a good answer. I've never heard that answer. Matt would like to know any more upcoming documentaries?
Yes, plenty actually. So the film that I'm working on right now is that cryptid case that I was mentioning earlier, but it's called 1903. It's going to be coming out. I want it out by Christmas. I've got another documentary in the works as well. That's kind of my buddy Ron Haskett. It's kind of his baby. And so, we've shot the majority of it. So now it's just kind of finding more direction, right? Like where it wants to go. And so I'm just kind of like following his lead, because at the end of the day, it's his baby. It's just, right. I'm the one that's doing the cutting and the splicing and all that fun stuff. I did some narration work for my buddy Seth's documentary that's called Squatch, Iowa, which is all Sasquatch stuff in the state of Iowa, which I'm really excited to see this.
Oh,
by
is
the way.
that the trailer I saw?
That could be it, yes.
Oh, I might have confused the two, yes.
No, that could be it, yeah. But yeah, and so I think that documentary is coming out, gosh, probably within the month, honestly. Like, it should be out pretty darn quick.
Nice.
Now, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff in the works. I'm kind of at that weird stage right now. So, like, when I kind of, like, hopped in bed with VidiSpace, right, I already had all of these documentaries that were just kind of sitting around collecting dust that nobody had really seen. And so I was like, here's A Brush with Evil 1, here's A Brush with Evil 2, here's Patience, here's Interconnected. And it was just like boom, ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. And then we did like A Brush with Evil 3, and it's like, here's all this stuff. And then I was like, oh crap, I need to make more movies. Like, oh man. So yeah, I'm kind of in that weird stage right now where we're doing nothing but shooting and editing and all of that.
Yeah, and repeat.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's fun because you get to be, you get to be creative, and I love that.
I would say you're definitely creative. You have a touch of creativity.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Darren, I've seen Darren ask this question before. I don't really understand. You probably will, though. Do you think virtual reality has a place in the paranormal field?
Ooh, gosh, man, that would be fun. So I would say, yeah, absolutely. I'm always wondering, like, where the tech is going to go next, right?
Right.
Because we have, like, all this cool stuff. But for the most part, it's just kind of like revamped things that we've already seen in the past, right? And so it's like, like digital recorders or whatever. Well, we just switched from analog recorders to digital recorders. They do pick up different frequencies, but at the same time, it's in the same vein. Now, now we have things like geo boxes and geoports and all of these different things like that, and ITC type experimentation. But I would say that absolutely it's moving in that direction. I don't know exactly how they would implement it, though, I'm excited to see like what happens in the next even like 2 years. What's going to happen just with like all of the technological stuff that we have. It's fascinating, you know, just like for an example, before, if I wanted to shoot like a 360 video, I had to have a special rig. I had to have 4 or 5 or 8, you know, GoPros all kind of working in tandem, you know, and then you would get it together, you would put it all together and then stitch it. Well, now there's these cute little things that just attach to your phone, you know, and that was only like 6 months of, you know, just kind of progression there. And now we're at that. It's super cool. And I don't know if like you guys have seen the camera that's coming out here in like the next 2 weeks is like I think it's called the GoPro Max. Sweet baby Jesus. This camera looks amazing. And it has 360 capability. But yeah, it looks super, super outstanding. It is like, I mean, it's stupid. It's stupid expensive. It's like $500 or something like that for this tiny little thing that fits in your pocket. You know, it's ridiculous.
He's thinking, Darren adds, I'm thinking for the virtual reality, I'm thinking like using it to view locations before you go into the location too.
Yep. So, and that's another thing that I would love to do. So one thing that we're trying to implement, and this is going to be kind of a long time out, but it's something that I'm brainstorming, right? But using augmented reality inside of Malvern Manor. So instead of me walking somebody around and giving the same old tour that I always grab or that I always present, you give people an iPad, for an example, and they walk around the manor with the iPad. Now, looking through the iPad or what have you, they would be able to see, okay, over here, this is Gracie's room, for an example, right? And inside of Gracie's room, not only is it going to give you real-time atmospheric conditions, barometric pressure, temperature, time, moon phases, everything that you would want to know right there on the screen. But it's also going to give you the history of Gracie herself. It's also then going to give you different pieces of evidence that we and other teams have acquired over the years now. And then, so if you want, you could, you know, just kind of press and see what's going on. Now, obviously, augmented reality is taking leaps and bounds day to day. It is kind of fascinating what they're doing with the technology. And I think that it would be awesome if we could kind of harness that and really put it to use. Oh, it would be so cool.
It would for so many reasons. It wouldn't be the same stuffy tour, not that you're stuffy, but you know what I mean.
Exactly. But yeah, but I you know, I could give that tour in my sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I literally repeat myself verbatim every time I do it. And hell, if you really want that tour, like you just go on YouTube and I'm sure it's on there somewhere.
Yeah. Well, this way, if somebody doesn't want to see a certain part,
right,
they don't have to follow the group. They can just go, and if they don't want to hear about Gracie, they don't have to. If you know, that is amazing. Right. That is an amazing
I think
idea.
It would be super cool. Now, obviously, I'm not smart enough to like figure any of that out. So, but my buddy Paul Kosis is. So like,
there you go. Yeah.
So he's the dude for sure.
Matt says holograms will be next.
Yes, I absolutely agree with that. And like, it's interesting now, like how they're using holograms. Like Michael Jackson did an entire concert just 2 years ago. It was all a hologram, but nobody could really tell the difference.
I didn't know that.
It was super crazy. And I guess they did it again with like Tupac. You know, all these great, you know, musicians or whatever that have kind of, you know, gone before us, obviously, but they've done this really cool stuff with like holograms, and it's on a stage. I think this was in like Las Vegas or someplace like that. Yeah, most likely, right? Like you think entertainment, you think Vegas for sure.
Of course.
But yeah, I think it was there. Pretty amazing, honestly.
Yeah. And the further this tech stuff comes along, the further we can get as investigators.
Yeah, and I can look at this in two different ways. Like, I can kind of see this as a double-edged sword too, because yes, I could see us moving forward for sure, but I could see any person out there being able to then, fake evidence.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see now, and I'm not saying any location would do this. What I'm saying is they could.
Yep.
They could start implementing a holographic type image or whatever of, like in our place, like the Shadow Man, for example, right? And he's chasing you down this hallway and you have no freaking idea what's going on.
It would be awesome for a haunted house, but not for an investigation.
Bingo. No. Exactly. So I could also see this kind of hindering the field at the same time. I think we just have to be super careful about what we do,
Yeah, it's definitely it's hard. Yeah, I'll leave it there. But yeah, you got to be careful. I
think so.
Yeah,
it's tough.
With Matt says with the advancement of augmented reality and 3D mapping, it's going to be mind blowing.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but like you said, it's already scary what people can fake.
Yeah, like have you seen some of they call them, I believe, deep fake videos?
No, that I have not seen.
So deep fake videos is basically like one I saw was like Barack Obama. And Barack Obama was sitting in a chair and he was basically just talking to the camera. It was a real tight shot on his face, and he's saying some very odd things that you wouldn't expect like a former president to say. He definitely wasn't himself. Well, it turns out it was just another person that was mimicking his voice and did a damn fine job of it. But they're able now to maneuver lips and all of this stuff and facial features. You wouldn't know the difference if this person was actually, if it was in fact them or not. This is a scary kind of thing. Because the right hacker with the right programming and all that stuff and the right amount of talent could do whatever the hell. It could literally start World War III if they so chose.
Yeah. They didn't they do that with the I can't think of his name right now, which I can't believe because I was a huge fan. The actor that passed away from the Fast and the Furious before he finished the movie. They used his two brothers, and they superimposed his face on top of the brothers.
Paul Walker,
Thank
right?
You.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and there's a funny, like, I think it's funny. I'm not remembering, but it's like a deep fake video of like Jennifer Lawrence accepting an award of some sort, and they put another actor's head basically on her body. But it was super weird because like it looks like it's just that actor wearing a dress. Like, it's super weird.
Wow.
Like, it is phenomenal what they're doing, like, with all this stuff. But yeah, it does kind of scare me at the same time.
Yeah. It's like, use your Jedi powers for good, people.
Right. Damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Wolf just deleted it again. I'm watching for it though. So how many books have you written?
I've done 6 books at this point.
Wow. Any more coming out?
Not yet. Like, I keep thinking to myself, oh yeah, you need to write this book, you need to write that book, and I'm just like, oh man, like there's no time.
You don't need to sleep.
Right. Tell me about it, right? You don't need to sleep. It's overrated. It'll be fine.
I mean, on top of all that, 3 children. I mean, come on.
Yeah. My Lord. Yeah.
Oh, we have another question. Sorry, I missed it. Thank you, Matt. What is your advice for... It's from Cynthia, sorry. What is your advice for new teams on finding their threshold of fear?
So that's always a fine little line to walk, right? So, like, I was with a group the whole week. We were filming all this fun stuff, but these guys that we were filming with, they had never done this before, ever. They have never done anything like this before. And to see their reaction when certain things were going wrong, like it was interesting, because I was like, oh, that's nothing. To me, that was nothing, but I'd been doing this for a while. But at the same time, like me in the same scenario or whatever, if I see like a spirit charging at me, right, or something like that coming at me, if I see something like that, I'm most likely going to duck out in some way, shape, or form. I guarantee it. And I think it's just putting them in the field and getting them out there and doing what investigators do, right? And that's the thing, right? At the end of the day, we are investigators. We're not necessarily like observers in this. So,
True.
You're supposed to investigate, meaning, I heard a knock or I heard a voice or something, and you should absolutely go towards that, which sometimes is harder to do than people might think. But I think just putting them in the field.
It's a thin line.
It is.
You have to overcome certain fears, but I think a small amount of fear is good for you. It keeps you, like you can't say I'm not afraid of anything. And
right.
You have to stay cautious is what I guess I'm trying to say.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's see. I think, I get, somebody could walk in my room and say hi and I jump, but it doesn't mean I'm afraid.
Right. I'm pretty jumpy too, and I think that just kind of goes with the day job, right? Like, I hear things all the time in the Manor, and I'm experiencing things all the time there, and people are like, "Oh, aren't you used to it now?" Well, kind of, but no, because it's never like the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's can not you ever really get used to it though?
I doubt it. At this point, I don't think so.
It's because it's still unknown. It's not like
right.
There's still always that little unknown of what's going on and what could happen.
Yeah.
You might be comfortable, but it doesn't mean you're used to it. It still catches you off guard.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened at the Manor?
Oh God.
Or one of. How about that? That way you don't have to say.
There have been numerous times, I guess, where I'm doing like a live feed or something, and I'm hearing things going on, on the feed, and I'm like, what the heck is that? Like knocking and voices and footsteps. I'm like, Jesus, like somebody's in the Manor, and it's like, there's no doubt in your mind somebody's in that building and somebody is messing around or whatever. And so here I go, usually in the middle of the night, I have to go back over there and, clear the building, and all that, which sucks. That process takes about a half hour in and of itself, just because you're looking under every bed. You're looking behind every door, in every closet. In every single second, you're expecting somebody to jump out at you, right? Like a real life person.
That's my biggest fear, is the real life people. Yeah.
And so, I mean, this is why, it's situations like that led me then to make the decision to, get a concealed carry permit.
Yep.
And so I'm constantly, like, when I'm there, I'm walking. If I'm doing a check like this or clearing the building, I am walking through and I'm making as much noise as I possibly can. And I'm telling them exactly who I am. I'm telling them exactly where I am. And I'm also letting them know that I don't want to use this gun, but I will, type of thing, So it's like, just let me know you're here. You know what I mean? I don't want to make a mistake. I certainly don't want to make a mistake or anything like that.
No, but you also have to protect yourself. You can't be,
exactly.
You don't know if somebody did break in or what's going on or what they're.
Well, and let me tell you, like one morning, so my buddy, obviously, Johnny Hauser, he gets up every morning at 4:30. He goes to the gym. Well, I was like, well, screw you. I'm going to do the same thing. You know what I mean? And so I started getting up every morning at 4:30. I'd get up and I would go to the gym. And on this one particular morning, I had just got out of bed, and I was putting on my clothes and getting ready to head out the door. And I hear banging on my door. And so I go down there, and it's the police. And I'm like, oh, my God, it's 4:30 in the morning, and the police are knocking on my door like, who died, you know?
Right.
And he's like, is anybody in Malvern Manor tonight? I go, no, the building's empty tonight. He goes, I'm going to need the keys to the manor.
Oh, boy.
I'm like, okay, what's going on? They received a call, that the person that called said that they had taken hostages, and they had been doing drugs all night, drinking all night. There were 3 hostages, and one of them he had already killed inside of the manor. And I said, so are you telling me that there's a homicide at Malvern Manor? And he goes, that's why I need the keys. We need to go check. Now, this was 2 counties worth of police officers surrounding the manor.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
They all, and they all went in very very tactical. It was super cool to kind of see them work. Now, obviously I wasn't there. I just watched them on the cameras. You know what I mean? But there was nobody there. Nobody was there. And so it was just a crank call. It was a crank call that somebody had called into the police station. I don't know why anybody would do such a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just bizarre, but I mean, thank God we got the guys that do their job, for our police force around here.
Thank God it wasn't real too. But,
exactly.
yeah. Thank God
I was
for
terrified.
law enforcement. Yeah.
Yes, because I was absolutely terrified. We had an event coming up in 2 days. And I don't know. I don't know if it was all the publicity surrounding the event is why maybe somebody made that call. Who knows why people do what they do? You know what I mean?
What? If you ever figure that out, please let me know.
Yeah, no kidding.
Please let me know. Speaking of events, don't you have one coming up in a week or 2 weeks?
In a week. In a week from today, we have Elizabeth Saint, we have Charla Hardin, we have Ashley Godwin, Madison Smith, Johnny Hauser. I mean, we're all going to be over there, hanging out at the manor, having a good old time. I'm super excited. This will be the first time I've met Elizabeth face to face. We've chatted on the phone and chatted online and things like that. But this will be the first time that we actually get to meet face to face.
It sounds like an amazing event. It really.
It should be so much fun. I'm super stoked.
And it's the 25th and 26th, correct?
I believe it's the 19th. Yeah, it's next Friday. Or excuse me, next Saturday. God, I'm a dork.
Oh,
but yeah,
okay.
that's next Saturday, yeah.
Oh, okay. I must have wrote it down wrong then. I knew it was a week or 2, so.
Yeah. Now, I do know that it's next month. It's towards the end of November. And that is with the guys from the Tennessee Wraith Chasers are coming over again. And we're going to do a 2-night event. One night is going to be at the Squirrel Cage Jail in Council Bluffs, Iowa. And then the next night will be over at our place, at the Manor.
That will be fun.
Oh, yeah.
That
absolutely.
Will be fun.
I'm very excited.
Maybe I combined the 2 events. That could have been.
Oh, I don't even. Yeah, I get confused about stuff all the time.
I can't remember my kid's birthday, so the stuff I pull out of my ass when I'm on air surprises me.
You're like, I got this.
I don't know how I know this. I just know,
That's what's up. Yep.
Yeah. The amount of times I'm wrong does not surprise me.
Whatever.
Jared wants to know, do you believe in holy water, or is it just holy water?
I believe in holy water. I believe in anything really that, as long as there's a belief structure behind it, right? Like if people believe that this is going to work, then damn it, it's going to work.
Yep.
Whether it be a crucifix or a rosary, just, oils, anything like that, or even the really cool, like, stones and crystals and things that people carry around and sometimes wear. Like if they think that that's protecting them, then hell yes, it's protecting them. I think the power of thought and thought processes
and
bears
intent,
a lot of weight.
Exactly.
Yep. Yes. And I think that bears significant weight, especially with what we do. And I think that's ultimately why we're never really going to know the full truth behind like the paranormal stuff, because it's immeasurable. It really is. And there's, if you look at like scientific method or whatever, right, you have to have like a controlled environment. Well, for the most part, that's out the window already with any form of haunting. And then you also have, something that has to be repeatable. And
that's not,
that's screwed. Yeah, that's totally screwed, especially with an intelligent type haunt,
Yeah, because they can change their answers. They can change their timing. But even when it's residual, you can't control the environment. You can't control the weather. So you could start thinking, okay, this is close. But, Mother Nature takes over.
Right.
Yeah. Mama Pat said ghosts don't perform on cue. Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. And if I was a ghost, I wouldn't either. I'd be like, yeah, screw you, hippie. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to I'm going to chill out over here.
Yeah. I wait till I come back.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait, man. I'm just going to haunt the crap out of everybody. It's going to be great.
Yes. So, what are your thoughts on all the paranormal going mainstream over the past 10, 20 years, however, and more now?
Yeah.
Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Or do you think it's a little of both?
I think it's definitely both, for sure. Because one aspect of it maybe being bad or hindering the field in a certain way, right? So I got a phone call one night from a lady that needed legitimate help. She thought they had, some form of haunting going on in their house, and they were absolutely terrified. They were scared. And it was interesting because I was kind of walking her through it. I'm like, we can absolutely show up and see what's going on and try to get you some answers. And she goes, okay, so what time will you guys show up? And I'm like, well, I'd like to show up maybe during the late afternoon, early evening, so I can see perfectly well what I'm about to trip over, later on in the evening.
Yep.
Because that's me and I fall down a lot, whatever. But I was like, it is what it is, right? But I also said, but then, we'll start our investigation around dusk and, probably wrap up maybe 4 or 5, in the morning. And she goes, oh. She goes, you're going to be here that long? And I'm like, well, we don't have to be necessarily. I'm like, if that's a problem, I'm sorry. She goes, oh, I just thought it was going to be like the guys on the TV. And she goes, you'd check everything out for about an hour and then let us know what you found. I'm like, oh, sweetie. I was like, oh, my God. I was like, no. I go, when you see these shows, I'm like, they've been there for at least 3 or 4 days. Promise. I promise.
And the camera crews are usually there the week before getting the shots without them in it.
They got to get the B-roll. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They got to get the B-roll shots. I mean, hell, we have Travel Channel over at our place right now filming B-roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just all sorts of crap.
See, I can understand
crazy.
that, though. I understand how people that don't do this misunderstand. My problem with the paranormal TV shows, and if you disagree, you can say it, that's fine, is the teams that try to become certain ones.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
And they don't know what they're doing in there. And
yeah, and I've been guilty of that, myself. Absolutely. Yeah. right when we were right out of the gate, like starting investigating and all that stuff, I was absolutely guilty of that. And, ended up biting off way more than we could chew, you know, and it was just kind of crazy.
But they think acting, like, you made a mistake. You learned, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes now, because it's so mainstream, that they think this is the way to get popular. This is the way to be recognized without...
Yeah, and that's I get it. Yeah. Like, the paranormal is cool now because it is in the mainstream, and it's become this thing that we can chat about around the water cooler at work, and people don't look at us like we're as crazy as we were 20 years ago. They still may think we're a smidge on the crazy side, but that's okay too. But yeah, like I get it. Like, a lot of people think that being on a paranormal investigative team is their ticket to fame and fortune and all this. And I'm, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I tell people this all the time. Like, if you're on a TV show, that's fine and dandy, and you have like some form of notoriety there, and that's great. But those people don't make that much money,
right?
It's not as lavish as you would think.
No.
But yeah, I think they do fairly well. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's not as much as probably people would think.
There's a few that make quite a bit for the most part. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's like a handful of them. Absolutely.
I keep forgetting your video's not on. You probably can't even see me.
I can see you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I keep shaking my head yes, and I'm like, wait, okay. Let's see. We had another question, but I know I'm touching on subjects, guys. Real quick here, but there's just so much you have to fit into a short amount of time. I'm trying to touch on everything. This is a fun one. All right, of course it's Darren again.
Okay.
This is a fun question. What is one object in this world that you never want to be haunted?
Oh my God! Now how to answer this, right?
Right.
Oh my gosh, man, that is a cool question. I like that question. God, an object that you don't want to be haunted
ever.
Let's see, ever. Honestly, like.
Excuse me.
I mean, like your toilet, like
yeah.
Kind of where my head went initially. I'm like, oh yeah, don't haunt my toilet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's like the only alone time I get, right? So, just leave me be. That's awesome.
All
question.
I can see is like a talking toilet, like the sea coming. Rah, 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 rah,
Have you ever seen the second Look Who's Talking? And he's kind of afraid of being potty trained.
That is what I'm picturing, actually.
Yeah, and the toilet's like yelling at him. I love that.
That is exactly what I'm picturing, now that you said it.
It's so great.
Yeah. Darren, we'll have to ask that one again. That is a fun question.
Yeah, for sure.
And depending on who the guest is, it could have been a lot worse of an answer.
That's true.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, you could get some really interesting answers out of that, I guarantee you.
Yeah, I'll try to remember that one.
You should make it a thing. Like every show, you have to ask that question.
I will. Yeah. I have a list that I didn't even.
I love it.
I have like 5 questions. I usually play a game. I don't even know where it is.
That's awesome.
I'll have to add it. I know most of them, so I'll have you. Let's see. All right, sorry. I know I'm way behind here. They're so excited, so.
Cool.
I'm used to there being me and Kelly, so which.
Yeah.
Let's see. She says, "Wait, travel channel? What? Josh, you're keeping secrets."
Yeah, I'm keeping secrets not on purpose. I'm keeping secrets because I'm contractually obligated to keep secrets.
Yep.
And they don't Yeah, they don't like that crap. You'll know in January. How about that? Yay.
So everybody watch in January.
Yeah, there you go.
Watch for it. Cynthia also says, I have a blooper for Josh if he makes a gag reel.
Oh, damn it.
Is it for Josh, Cynthia? Or
is it?
Or is it of Josh?
I hope it's not of me.
Yeah. Do you have any blooper reels?
Oh, God, like, just my day-to-day life is a blooper reel. Like, everything I do.
Well, mine too, but I meant, like, out there. Like,
no.
No?
God help us all, no.
Oh, that's something you guys should do.
We should do something like that.
Mine, I have quite a few, but my favorite, this is how it started. My ex-boyfriend and I took my daughter investigating for the first time. And she, so he's giving her the tour, and he's filming as he's doing this, and he's giving her the safety lecture, and he's giving her the tour, and he's really serious, and he's like, you have to watch where you're going, you can't do this, you can't do that, and he says safety first, and boom, the asshole falls in a hole. Like,
no.
Yeah, no. I mean falls. Like, yeah.
That is the best.
Safety first. Boom, down he goes. And it was a big hole.
That is amazing.
Yeah, so that was fun.
I tell you, if you want to see one blooper of me, and this is like going to haunt me until the day I die, but if you watch the very last 5 minutes of Into the Light 2 that I did with my buddy David Glidden, David played a practical joke on me and got me pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. So yeah.
We won't give it away, but
oh my Lord.
I have a few out there. I make fun of myself, and one time I was really sick, and we're filming, and I'm like, we're at a cemetery, and I'm like, and I was like, wait, where the fuck are we? I'm like, wait. And then I'm like, and today is Sunday the 27th, and they're like, it's Saturday the 13th. I'm like, oh my God, forget it. So.
We're just dropping the balls left and right here.
Yeah,
damn it.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, I'm trying. Oh, they're talking about their bloopers.
Nice.
Yeah, I love bloopers. Any
Heck
kind,
yeah.
even on movies, the blooper reels they do at the
end. I love those too. Yeah.
Those are great. You guys have any more questions? You better type them in real quick. This hour went by quick.
It really did. It really did.
And I have a whole list here that I didn't even.
It's the way it goes, right?
What? I write them down and then I usually don't look, but I was actually looking. While they're thinking, you want to talk about your Patreon page a little bit?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'm actually putting something pretty cool together for that. But yeah, the Patreon page is fun. It's called Josh Hurd's Paranormal Quest. And so it's just me and my day-to-day stuff, and it's blogs and vlogs and a special little podcast that I throw up once a week there. 2 weeks ago we interviewed Brandy Green from Ghost Hunters International. I've had Dustin Perry on the show also, and we just last week did an interview with Nick Groff, which was really cool. But I also do live feeds of the Manor, all sorts of fun stuff over there, really.
Yeah. Where can they find it?
So it's just patreon.com/Josh Hurd. That's it. Or if you just go to joshhurd.net, there's a link on my website as well for that.
I wanted to make sure I got that out there because I always see the fun, cool stuff. Well, I don't actually get to see it. I get to see the teasers because I'm not a Patreon, but I see.
And that was one thing. I've seen different Patreon pages, right? And it's if you donate or whatever it is, $1, you get this, and if it's $5, you get this, and $10 gets this. I'm like, oh my God, that's so confusing. So I'm like, what if we just did $3 for a month? $3 and that's it. I'm like, there's no tiers or anything. Everybody's in the same pot here. For $3, that's it. and you get access to everything. So yeah, I didn't want to confuse myself anymore.
No, I think it's awesome that you did it that way.
And I thought it was fairly cheap. You know what I mean? Like I didn't, because I didn't want it to be stupid expensive. I wanted it to be cheaper than like a meal at McDonald's. You know what I mean?
Matt said for the price of a coffee once a month,
yeah,
well worth it.
Yes, exactly. Oh, so. Thank you.
Yep. All right, we have a couple more questions here. What do you want from Darren? What do you want to see more of in the paranormal field? That's a good question.
That is a good question. What I would love to see more of is more education, more knowledge, right? I want to see more people getting into, and tech is awesome. I love the technical aspect of the paranormal. What I want to see is more people understanding fully what makes these devices tick, right? The inner workings of what a geoport does, and why then in theory it should help us better communicate with the other side, right? And I think, honestly, if we can really dive into the nuts and bolts of the inner workings of like some of the tech, then we can eventually move forward and constantly progress this field, because I think that's what it's all about, progression, right? It's like we've been doing the same thing now for the past 10 or 15 years, right? Now it's time for something new. Now it's time for something bigger, something that's going to help us all.
Move it forward.
Yes, absolutely move it forward. Yes. I would love to see something like that.
I think that's a great answer. I would like to see above, besides that, I mean, people getting along more.
Yeah, that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like no more like infighting and all that stuff, because like ultimately at the end of the day, we're all after the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's it. And it's really just one question. It's just one little question that drives everybody, and it's just what happens when we die? That's it. That's the question. And it seems so simplistic on paper.
But it's really not.
It's really not. Not at all.
Oh, he always comes up with great questions. Darren, is there any new experiments you want to try in the paranormal field, like you did between Malvern Manor and the Sally house?
Yeah, I was just talking about this today.
Then now that before we answer that the experiment he's talking about, is that where you guys tried to send messages or something?
Yeah, I mean, basically we were just trying to, get a response from the different location.
That's what I thought he meant. Yeah.
And unbeknownst to the investigator,
Yeah.
And I would love to see more progression, like kind of with that school of thought, that kind of that theory behind it or whatever. 'Cause man, that still has me like kind of scratching my head. Right.
Right.
'Cause I just don't know if it's the location, if it's a specific, you just picked it on a good night, or is it the group of people you're with? Like, I don't know what to make of it, but man, there's some really cool, and there's some really cool things going on. Guys on Facebook, there's a really cool guy that we used for A Brush with Evil 3, and his name is Mike Nichols. And Mike is a parapsychologist from the Kansas City, Missouri area, and he has some amazing things going on right now with random event generators and random number generators and things of that nature, and that are absolutely correlating with paranormal experiences. It's phenomenal, the work that they are all doing.
What was his name?
Mike Nichols.
Nice. So, since I interrupted you, is that the more of the experiments you want to see? Is that where you?
Yeah, I think anything just kind of that's gonna push the envelope a little bit more, and then open up people's minds a little bit to, oh crap, I never thought about that, or what if we did it like this and we take this original idea and we tweak it a little bit. We just kind of play around with it, It's like that's where this stuff gets really fun.
That is I like. Sorry, I was just about to say it, and he put it in the chat. That's why I paused here. Here's my thoughts on device mesh, the SLS camera with the VR, and doing the estate method all at the same time. I was just going to talk. I don't even know if I'm saying that right.
Estes. Yeah.
Estes. Thank you. I always say it's the damn Mass accent. I can't say anything. I like that. I like that method.
Yes. So we did the Estes method the other night for my buddy Ron's documentary that we're shooting, right? And we put Ron down at the end of a hallway, and we put Hauser at another portion of the hallway, and they were both sitting there doing their thing. It was super cool because my buddy Paul was the one kind of asking the battery of questions, and listening to them simultaneously answer, at the same time. Oh my Lord.
For anybody that doesn't understand what that is, it's when they're wearing earbuds, so they can't hear what the other people are saying. It's just coming through, or headphones, excuse me.
Right, right.
Just in case anybody's listening and they're like, what the hell are they talking about? So, right. So they were getting them with different devices at the same time?
Yeah, different devices, but in tandem at the same time.
That is awesome.
It was pretty impressive. Now, it didn't work every time, obviously. No. But, man, there was a few times in there that my jaw literally dropped. Like, what? Like, no freaking way. You know what I'm saying? It's so cool.
We've done it a few times. We, I think it was at the Red Church in Maine.
Yeah.
We were in a church, and my sister was doing it, and she was getting some of the stuff, she was repeating out loud real quick. And one of the people that was there was like, well, if that's really you, say Mississippi. And she kind of stuttered. She's like, miss me? Like, I was like, whoa. Wow. I was like, that's pretty cool. Because you could tell she knew she was like hearing something, but so it's like, that's close.
Cool.
That's pretty close.
Yeah,
so,
for
because
sure.
it was more to back up the other stuff she had already got. So.
Wow.
All right.
I love that.
I do too. You'll have to come back and when Kelly's with us too, because there's just
anytime.
So much more. We can't let it go another year and a half, 2 years. That's for sure.
Sure.
But it's been over an hour. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any questions out there. I think I got them all. And thank you to everybody who's in chat and anybody that is listening later. We really appreciate it. So are you going to be traveling anywhere? Where are you going to be? Any besides the 19th?
Right. And yeah. I do know that next I believe it's the end of July. I'll be in Gettysburg at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, which I'm really looking forward to that. And I realize it's only like mid-October right now, and so I have a while, but still, I'm very excited to get back to Gettysburg.
Yes, we were talking about that before the show.
Yeah, and then there's a few other events and all that fun stuff that I will definitely be a part of. Kind of sprinkled in there for sure.
Are you like me? You can't remember where you're going to be? You have
That's exactly it. Like I have to, like, my entire world is like on my phone here.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Me too. Exactly.
And so I'm completely lost without it.
So, how about this? Where can people find out what you're up to? What's your social media and where, they can find where you're going to be and.
Sure. So, joshhurd.net is the website. That's pretty much the one-stop shop for everything. And, Josh Hurd 1981 is like the Twitter handle. I guess is what they call it, the handle. But
I call it twatter. So
yeah, the Twitter and twatter. And yeah. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. But yeah, and then I think it's just Josh Hurd or Josh Hurd Paranormal on Facebook.
Yeah, there's
also,
a few different ways out on Facebook. So
and,
Mama Pat says, Mama Pat, of course, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
She said you're always welcome back at another expo.
And I love doing those expos.
Yeah.
Love them so much. Like sadly this year, gosh, it just kind of sucked. Like with scheduling and all that stuff, I wasn't able to do anything, which is terrible. But
that's the other. It's great when you're busy, but yet sometimes,
yeah, it just
hard.
Sucks.
Yeah. So one of these years, I'll get out to Iowa. It's been a long time in the making. So.
Heck yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, so tons of places. I'm just making sure. Okay. So I really appreciate you coming on.
Oh, no, thank you. It was great.
Yeah, it was great, and I behaved. See?
I tried so hard, and it worked for the most part.
See?
Yeah.
We were good.
We did okay.
Yeah, we did. We'll make up for it next time.
That's right.
All right. So, guys, next week I have a special guest. It is going to be the newest member of the Paranormal Buzz family. Her name is Kay. She has a show that's going to be starting really soon. So make sure you come meet the new host and hear all about her and her show. So until then, I'll see ya.